So you want to sell your business, but you're concerned that you're running personal expenses through your business, and you don't know if this is going to help or hurt your chances of selling for the highest possible price. Well, the answer to that is it's actually going to help you as long as we can justify and categorize those expenses that you're running through your business. So let's take a step back first and realize how our business is sold, or how are they valued? How are we figuring out the asking price for a business? And for the most part, businesses are valued off of a multiple of what the business earns. And whether that earnings metric you might have heard of is seller discretionary earnings, which is essentially the net income of your business, plus any owner compensation. And so it'll sell for a multiple of that SDE. Or if you're looking at businesses or selling your business, of $1 million or more, they'll use the metric EBITDA. Yeah, it's just for the most part what you'll see. And EBITDA is the earnings before you pay interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So these two metrics are just a form of measuring profitability in the business for buyers to be able to compare different businesses and earnings of different businesses. So a business is sold based off a multiple of what it's earning. So if you take a business with $1 million in earnings, $1 million in EBITDA, and it could sell for a 3 multiple, so $3 million. Now, how we're coming to those earnings metric is obviously taking the net income of the business and adding back the interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. But there's also a step further called adjusted EBITDA. And the reason why we're calling it adjusted EBITDA is because we are adding back all of those personal expenses that you may be concerned about if it's going to help or hurt your business to that number. And the reason why is because you have to put yourself in the buyer's shoes and realize, okay, as the buyer, as the new owner of this business, I can't assume that they're going to have all the same personal expenses or maybe one-off expenses that I had to run the business, right? Maybe it was a one-time legal fee, or you're running your personal phone or your personal car through the business, or you might even have a country club membership being run through the business. And then you could go, well, Jordan, that's to take clients out and hopefully get business from them. And that's great. But that's not a cost of goods sold. That's not payroll. That's not any operating expenses, right? That's a discretionary spending by you, the business owner. And so we can add that back. And so, again, as a business broker, I always try and tell my clients, hey, look, let's be as transparent as possible. Tell me everything that you're spending or running through this business. And like I said, as long as we can show documentation of this is what the expense is, this is when it was spent, and here's what it's going towards. This was my personal phone, and so I spend $5,000 a year, personal car, so I'm spending $5,000 a year on my car, right? So as long as we can show that and justify that, we can take that $5,000 and we can add it to that $1 million in EBITDA. We can take the country club membership and we can add it to that $1 million EBITDA. And so we're coming up with $1 million EBITDA, and then we're coming up with an adjusted EBITDA, which is taking all of those personal expenses, the one-off expenses, the discretionary spending by you, the business owner, we're adding it to the EBITDA. It's called the adjusted EBITDA. And then from there, we're applying the multiple. So if you can fast forward a little bit and think about how that affects your asking price, well, if you have $1 million EBITDA and there's no add backs, there's no personal spending, you just run straight clean books, which is fine as well, and let's apply a 3 multiple to that, well, 1 million times 3, your asking price is $3 million, right? So if you're going to add all of those back and you're going to have an adjusted EBITDA now of, call it $2 million for easy math, your asking price is now $6 million. If you have $1 million in add backs, that's going to be pretty drastic and dramatic though, but you can see how if you're adding back $5,000, it does make a difference because you're applying a multiple to it, right? So again, what I like to do when I'm part of these valuation processes for clients, I want to find as many of these add backs as I possibly can, right? Do you have any one-off expenses that maybe a one-time legal fee, like I said? Is there anything that you're spending on the business, personal gas? Is there anything that we can justify, we can show proof of, and we can categorize where we can add it to that earnings metric, and we can give it the adjusted earnings, the adjusted EBITDA, and then apply a multiple to that, because then we can just ask more for your business. And again, you just have to think of it from the buyer's perspective, right? If I'm going to buy the business, obviously all the expenses of the business, operating expenses, they're going to stay there. They're going to remain the same. The buyer can make adjustments here and there, sure, but you can't assume that they're going to run their car and their phone and a country club membership and gas through the business, right? They're not revenue generating expenses for the business. So those are called add backs. We like to look for them. They're a good thing. So if you have a lot of those being run through your business, it's not a bad thing. We just want to make sure that we can accurately categorize them, and so I would talk with your CPA to make sure we can thoroughly list all of those out, putting them in miscellaneous categories and then breaking them down from there. So add backs are a good thing. Personal spending through a business, that's totally fine if you do it. They're a good thing in my eyes. It's just going to increase your purchase price, which is amazing. So if you have any questions around the valuation process, around your personal spending in the business, or what add backs mean, let me know in the comments below. My name is Jordan Kelleher. I'm a business broker at Kelleher Acquisitions. I appreciate you watching this video.